Hi guys, so I'm sitting here with Benjamin, a good friend of mine. He has been practicing with me yoga for about 2.5 months now. We just finished our yoga session in the park, and I just thought it would be nice just to have a little exchange and to ask Benjamin some questions how he feels now after 2.5 months of practicing. So Benjamin, maybe would you like to just share how it is after 2.5 months? Maybe what is the biggest change or the biggest improvement that you can now feel and see in your body, in your mind? Tell us something about it.
Oh, okay. Basically, I came into, I approached you, if I may say, I know you started with your training, your teacher's training you finished, so I also wanted to support someone that I also know going into this, because I wanted a kind of a lifestyle change, to be a little bit more disciplined and in tune with myself, self-love, and I practiced yoga before, but not kind of with the intent to maintain it, and so I really wanted to go into it learning more in detail, corrections, and being comfortable. So so far definitely dived into the area of being more comfortable with myself, and even as far as being, say, in public while doing it is something that was a fear, and I've just gained a confidence over the time that we've spent, and with you leading the way and your patience and the laughter, and I've become a lot more disciplined, I feel, with going into it, where when times we can't, through whatever busy schedules or different things going on, I'm able to at home feel comfortable doing it by myself.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so nice to hear. Is there any aha moment? I feel like sometimes anatomically, when it comes to the body, since I started to do yoga, those little corrections, as you said, those little adjustments that I also get from my own teachers, and I keep on learning, and I'm still a student in that sense, and I always love those little corrections when they give you oh, when I pull my hip back, this is what happens in my body, and this is aha moment for me. Okay, that's cool, and that's a different sensation. And maybe you can find any example of that, or maybe you can just tell us whether you also reached that moment, or whether you had that moment in your practice when you felt okay, I have been practicing before yoga, as you said, and now since I'm going a little bit diving more into details, that has changed.
I guess some of the better examples would be, say, with bridge, kind of the bridge. Of course, I used to be able to just go up ahead and do it, but now with having these proper techniques of hand placement and the breathing and the chin, you're always reminding, because it's almost like a safety kind of concept, but actually at the same time, it also means that you're getting a better, you're in a better position before and after. So that's one of the areas. And I think today with pigeon, in the pigeon pose, where, you're telling me how does it look, how does it feel when you first land in a position, and then maybe try this in terms of moving your hips so that they're better aligned. And now that when I'm actually going into the forward position, it's it's not, instead of it being I don't know, it's more, it was very kind of just neutral to the point, then you actually feel the stretch and then you stop, because that's where you work now with your breathing in terms of going deeper. Mm-hmm. So and that's part of why I enjoy, even if it's just once a week, I enjoy with you this time, whether it's online or in person, because I'm gaining confidence in terms of what is the yoga practice and the things you can do, especially breathing, and how that helps as well in the breathing exercises.
That would be super interesting if you maybe can think of 1 or 3 words, depending. I don't want to put too much pressure on you. 1 or 3 words which you associate now with yoga? Like if somebody would ask you like, what is yoga? Like just 1 word or 3 words.
I would say, okay, yeah. For me, discipline is really one of the biggest that I really wanted to get, find in myself. Space and patience. Yeah, those 3. Yeah.
Cool. And the last question, and then we finish. I also find super interesting to ask people who has no idea about like yoga. Have you ever heard from your friends or like those typical sentences about like, oh, yoga, this is like and spiritual, just those little funny facts that are not really true or people believe them, and it's just like funny to hear like how people who don't do yoga, who never heard or who never like dived into yoga, like how they feel about yoga. Do you have any story or any sentence that you remember?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I still probably fight those things in my own self, in my head. Especially like I said, out in public, like what do these people think of,
Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, you kind of grow out of that, and you grow more into realizing that the intentions you put into it, or the intentions like you'll get out, and I don't know, like that. You just have to tell people to try it, and especially in a place that you have that time and you have someone that's patient, and maybe it costs a little bit more because it's more one-on-one and you're not in a big class and you're getting lost. You have that time then to explore, and I think that's the part. If people are fearful or they make fun of it, is because they're just scared to be in a group, I think, or too much of a big group, and feeling like they don't know what they're doing. So I think that's a big part of it, if that answers your question.
Yeah, totally. And for the end, I'm not sure what I'm gonna show it in this video, but for the end, for you to understand what we're talking about here, in order to be outside when people are passing in a park, we're doing kind of crazy stuff sometimes, and we're gonna show you just one thing that we did today, and that's maybe is gonna explain you why Benjamin sometimes feels like yoga is also going out of your comfort zone. So we inhaling through our nose and exhaling and showing our tongue.
Awesome.
1, 2, 3.